Hello and welcome back into the NW Sportscast. A sad day indeed for Mariners sports fans. Ty France is officially no longer a Seattle Mariner. And it's a rough day. And before I get into the whole sentimentality behind Ty France, I have a couple of good stories. He's one of my favorite players. I do want to preface this with saying this was a move that was needed to be made. This Mariner team is in win now mode, and as much as I love Ty France, I want the Mariners to win way more than whatever I hold near and dear towards Ty France. And I love France as a player, but he just was not getting it done right now. And Tyler Locklear is the better option. He's the younger, he's the more explosive, he's honestly the better hitter right now. And that's hard for a lot of Mariners fans to accept, but that honestly is the truth. Ty France this year, he had an appropriate amount of ABs. He had 300 at-bats with just a 223 batting average. And 223 batting average isn't necessarily awful when you take a look and say, okay, he's hitting 223, but he has 20 home runs, has a bunch of RBIs, he has plus defense, but that's not what it was. He had an on-base percentage of just 312 this year, slugging of just 350, OPS of just 662 with only 8 homers. Just did not get it done at all. And it's tough. It's unfortunate because Ty France, one of my favorite baseball players. I remember a few years back when I was that whole I Believe season with Jared Kelenic and all them boys. Ty France was one of the main guys to that run. And I brought a sign, shout out to my sister, Natalie Albaugh, and I brought a sign that said, Vive la France. And it's one of the favorite sayings. I love saying that whenever Ty France says something good, Vive la France. And I brought it to him, and on that game 162, he signed it. He said, thanks for coming out, guys. And I really appreciated that. And as a Mariner fan, I'll never forget that. It was one of the few interactions, true, genuine interactions I've had with a player. And, my sister, it's her favorite player. It's just Ty France, all around a good guy. He had a great first half of 2022, I believe it was. He had that all-star under his belt. He was a good player. Scratch that, a great player for the Seattle Mariners. But this year and last year, for that extent, just did not get the job done at all. And the Mariners, quite frankly, are in a win mode right now. They need to win right now. And unfortunately, the Mariners have put themselves in the spot where in the last 23 games, they've given up a 10 or 11 game lead in the division. And now they're going to have to kind of claw back, fight back against a really good Astros team. And part of the reason is because of guys like Ty France, who have just been unable to consistently get it done. He was hitting just a $160, something like that in the last, 20 or odd so games since he's been back from the injury. Before that, he was hitting right around league average. Since then, it's been super poor. Everyone was kind of hoping that Driveline would be that ignition to his 2024 season. Ty France or JP Crawford said, I'm going back to Driveline. I'm taking JP Crawford with me, but it seems like the Driveline magic has kind of worn out for Ty France and for JP Crawford right after the All-Star break. Super unfortunate, but it looks like Locklear's going to get the call up. Maybe this opens a spot for a few different guys to maybe potentially be traded to the Mariners, a la, a Pete Alonso, maybe a Vlad can play first, maybe a Brent Rooker you can throw at first. Not a great option defensively, but obviously better than what we have with Ty France right now. And honestly, Locklear is better than what we have with Ty France right now. Right now, Ty France is, according to Baseball Savant, a 50% batter run value, right at average, but the numbers say he's worse when you look at OPS and how important that is. His base running value is at 13. It should be lower. He's one of the slowest guys in the entire MLB. He cannot run the bases, and quite frankly, although he has a pretty good glove as far as picking the ball, has no range at all over there at first base, a fielding run value of just 7. His expecting batting average is in the 18th percentile. And for a guy who makes a living off of batting average, that's not good at all. And the problem is Ty France is a first baseman, guys. A first baseman needs to hit for significantly more power. His bat speed, 26th percentile. Hard hit rate, 33rd percentile. He's not putting the ball in the air enough. He's striking out. He can't run the bases. I mean, Ty France isn't an MLB player right now. He really isn't. And I would not be surprised if he cleared waivers and someone maybe made it back into the Rainier system, although he can decline that option if he wants to. Unfortunately, though, this is just a super unfortunate situation with Ty France. I mean, we got this guy for a bag of chips, to be honest with you, in that blockbuster trade for Austin Nola a few years ago, along with Taylor Trammell. You get Ty France, and I forget what the third guy was, but the Mariners, they definitely end up winning that trade. However, now that has finally ran its course, but shout out to Ty France. Has had a really, really fun, super impactful major league career, if that is, if this is all she wrote. And I don't think it will be. I think Ty France will probably get an opportunity somewhere else. But, for a 34th round pick, number 1017, all the way from SDSU, this guy, he's done pretty good for himself. So shout out to Ty France, one of my favorite players, one of my favorite Mariners in general. And it's super unfortunate it has to end this way, but sometimes the best things have to come to an end. And right now, it's the end for Ty France at age 30. He found some lightning in a bottle for a few years there, and unfortunately, the last couple, he's been subpar, to say the least. So, yeah, Tyler Locklear, he is going to be the replacement. He was playing down in AAA Tacoma the last few games. I was able to watch him as I worked there, and what I've noticed is he can obviously play a plus defensive first base. He hits for good power. He isn't anything super special. We obviously have already seen him as a Mariner up in Seattle, but I do think he provides more value than what Ty France has given you. And if anything, right now, all you need is a spark. You need a guy to just go off, get some power, get this lineup moving. I think we should be calling some other guys up from AAA Tacoma. We should be making trades right now. I say, why wait to the trade deadline? This offense is super, super stagnant, and this is the moment. Jerry DiPoto, Justin Hollander, those guys need to start wheeling and dealing. Trades need to happen right now. They need to jump on it before other teams beat them to the punch, because right now this Mariner team's still in a prime position to make the playoffs. But as of today, July 21st/2nd, 12:30 a.m. Look at that however you want to look at it. But the Mariners are not in first place. It's dire means this team is in a perfect spot to make the playoffs, but right now they're not in the playoffs at this point. And making these types of moves, although it may hurt, sending Ty France, out of this lineup, out of this team, that's necessary. Mitch Haniger, I think we should DFA him too. And Mitch Haniger is another fan favorite, one of those guys that I hold as one of the best Mariners of all time even. He's not good anymore. It's time to move on from him. Julio Rodriguez, he now has that foot injury. I was going to make a video on that before I figured out this whole Ty France thing happened. And then I figured, okay, I'm gonna switch to Ty France. I think that's a little bit more impactful. But Julio Rodriguez, if he's out for a few weeks, that is, regardless of how bad Julio has been for Julio standards, that's one of your best bats in your lineup. Gone. So now what are you going to do? You're not just going to lay down and die. You're a game out of first in the AL West. It's go time. Now is the moment. So what are you going to do? You're going to trade for a bat. You're going to call up some guys from AAA. You got to hope something happens. You can't just sit here patiently and wait. It's go time. And if that means trading some prospects, fine. Because you know what prospects are here for? They can be used for trade pieces. They don't always have to be used. Okay, we draft them 4 years down the line. We wait for them to develop. We slowly mature them. And then they're 24 and they make it to the majors. No, that's not what we do right now when it's win now mode. Who cares what's happening down in AA Arkansas or the Modesto Nuts? I really could care less if they're winning ball games. What I want right now is for the Mariners to win and take this division from the Houston Astros and show why they're a legit contender to win the World Series and to win the AL West for the first time in 20 years. Now's go time. This is a great start with Ty France. I might be unpopular in saying that. Ty France, one of my favorite players. This is a great move by the Mariners. Sometimes you have to leave emotion out of the situations and out of your decision-making process. And this was a good move. The next step is DFA Mitch Haniger. The next step is doing some more stuff from bringing up AAA Tacoma guys, making some more trades. If the Mariners do that, they're going to be in a great spot to contend for this division. And if they do that, you can't get mad at Jerry DiPoto and Justin Hollander. But if they stay stagnant and they don't go for the opportunity, seize the moment, it's going to fall under the wayside. And that's not what I want. I don't want to see this team slowly slip into mediocrity. I want them to pounce on the opportunity to win a really winnable AL West, to make the playoffs. And you saw it last year with the Diamondbacks. Make the playoffs. Anything can happen. This is the NW Sportscast. Ty France DFA'd. I do think it was a good move, but he was one of the all-time great Mariners of the last 10 years. Rip the GOAT, Ty France. Vive la France. All that good stuff. One of the best first basemen I've seen as a Mariner. So shout out to Ty France, but it was a great move. That's all I got for you guys, so please leave a like, comment, and subscribe on this video if you made it all the way to the end. Watch my Julio Rodriguez video breaking down why he's been so bad, quote, quote. That's what I made in the title. A little clickbait. He hasn't been that bad, but for Julio standards, he has been for sure. But that should be the most recent video on this channel, so go check that out. And as always, go Mariners. I'll catch you guys.